The presentation introduces the trebuchet concept for understanding golf swing mechanics. By studying the trebuchet, golfers can gain a better understanding of the physics underlying their swings. Applying these lessons helps refine technique, enhance power, and boost consistency, bringing a thoughtful and scientific edge to the game. A trebuchet is a type of catapult that uses a lever to throw objects over long distances. It's a simple yet powerful machine that was widely used in the past, especially during sieges. Before gunpowder weapons became common, here's how it works. The trebuchet has a long arm, called a beam, mounted on an axle that lets it swing up and down. One end of the beam has a sling that holds the projectile like a rock. The other end of the beam is loaded with a heavy counterweight. When the counterweight drops, it swings the beam, and the sling releases the projectile, launching it high and far. A trebuchet works by using a lever to launch projectiles far and fast. Its throwing arm is attached to a sturdy base with an axle, allowing the arm to swing. One key to the trebuchet's success is the positioning of the projectile, sling, and counterweight on the throwing arm. The throwing arm is essentially a basic lever. One can understand how it works through the principle of mechanical advantage. As seen in the diagram, the counterweight rests much closer to the fulcrum than the sling. During a launch, the counterweight drops, exerting torque on the lever. Through mechanical advantage, a slower counterweight end velocity creates a much faster projectile end velocity. The careful positioning of the counterweight, fulcrum, and sling is what makes the trebuchet so effective. A slower, heavier counterweight creates enough force to make the lighter sling end whip around at high speed, launching the projectile with great force. In a golf swing, the focus is on creating club head velocity through well-coordinated movements of the body. Unlike mechanical systems like trebuchets, which use external forces such as gravity from a counterweight to generate motion, a golf swing relies entirely on internal forces generated by the golfer's body. Golf swing relies on rotational motion generated by the golfer's body around their spine or center of mass. Golf swing internal forces come from the legs, hips, core, and shoulders, working in a coordinated sequence. In essence, while both involve rotational motion, the golf swing is a dynamic, human-driven system emphasizing skill, control, and biomechanics. On the other hand, trebuchets are purely mechanical devices designed to harness external forces for efficiency. Both the trebuchet and the golf swing demonstrate the principle of superposition of circles. Trebuchet, 2 circles. The first circle's center is the fulcrum. The first circle's radius is the length of the lever arm from the fulcrum. The second circle's center is the end of the long arm where the sling attaches. The second circle's radius is the length of the sling. When the trebuchet launches, the motion of the projectile is determined by these two overlapping circular paths, combining the rotation of the lever arm and the sling, golf swing, multiple circles. For the first circle, the center is spine, and the radius is from the spine to the humeral head. For the second circle, the center is the humeral head, and the radius is left arm. For the third circle, the center is wrists, and the radius is the golf club. During a golf swing, these circles combine. The spine rotates the torso, the arms swing around the humeral head, and the club rotating around the wrists. The superposition principle in trebuchets parallels that of golf swings, but their power sources are fundamentally different. Here's a simplified comparison. Trebuchet power source, static potential force. The trebuchet's force comes from a counterweight, which is lifted and held in place before launch. During the release, gravity pulls the counterweight down, converting the potential energy into kinetic energy, which is transferred to the lever and ultimately the projectile. Golf swing power source, dynamic elastic force. A golf swing generates elastic force during the backswing, where the golfer stores elastic force dynamically through body rotation and muscle stretch. On the downswing, this elastic force is released dynamically and driving the club head with maximum velocity. Understanding this difference highlights the complexity of human motion in a golf swing compared to the mechanical efficiency of a trebuchet. The onager, a type of ancient catapult, provides a fascinating comparison to the mechanics of a golf swing. Both rely on torsion or elastic force as their power source. Unlike the trebuchet, which uses a counterweight, the onagger generates power through a tightly wound rope or torsion bundle. When released, this stored elastic force propels the arm forward to launch a projectile. Similarly, a golf swing generates elastic force by storing torsion in the torso during the backswing. The coiling of the body, particularly the core and hips, stretches muscles and creates elastic force. By understanding the parallels between the mechanical efficiency of the onagger and the mechanics of the golf swing, golfers can explore new ways to improve power and accuracy. A powerful golf swing requires proper sequencing of your hips, torso, and arms. Start with a solid base, legs and core, rotate the torso, and let your arms and wrists release last for maximum clubhead speed. By extending your swing radius, the long arm equivalent, you can achieve greater clubhead speed. Keep your arms relaxed and fully extended for a larger radius and better leverage. Understanding principles like superposition of circular motions, spine rotation, arm swing, wrist hinge helps refine your technique for more precise and consistent swings. A scientific approach to your swing, considering mechanics, angles, and forces, can empower you to improve your game systematically.